Live and we're live. Alrighty. So we're gonna get set up because we're a little early. Let's see. Copy that. We're live. So yeah. Go ahead and include that to everybody. Just in case anybody wants to get on here today. Alrighty. We got somebody in here. How's it going? Hope that everything's going well. On this, I think it's week 5, maybe 6 of NTI. It's kind of hard to imagine it, but we've been out. Hey, Paul, how you doing? It's kind of hard to imagine that we've been out for almost 2 months, isn't it? But that's where we're at. Let me double check there. I'm pretty sure I have, Paul. Let me bring up the old grade book here, because what happens is if you leave a comment on somewhere, I get a notification, so I check it. So basically, for all the assignments where it's been like, hey, read this or watch this and leave a comment, my first thing is to go to actual Google Classroom and see who's turned something in and left a comment. And then I go into the actual comments section, see who left in there. So it's pretty easy. No, Paul, I have not been getting it. It seems I got it for week 3. So, where is it? Where has it been left? I guess is what I need to know, because I'm. It's not a big deal. I can go and find it. Did you by chance put it in email? Is that what that was? I just didn't see it. Because that's decidedly possible. Here. Got the old email too. Okay. All right. So that's because I definitely got one. I remember that. Got that update. Here we go. There's Charles Lindbergh. I got that one. So today, or this week in general, it's pretty simple. I picked a biography article for you to read on Charles Lindbergh. He's famous for a lot of reasons, but basically, okay, cool. What's up, Jeremiah? All you got to do is read it and kind of just like leave a comment as like, this was a neat thing or whatever. Like in truth be told, just you coming into the stream, that counts. So you're good. I'm going to go ahead and mark you. And same with you, Paul. Let's see. There's Paul and there's Jeremiah. Okay. So basically, Charles Lindbergh was an aviator who was the first to go across the Atlantic Ocean by himself. And it was the first time that they had a long-range aircraft, essentially something that could, what we consider to be more of a modern aircraft instead of some sort of short-range fighter like in World War I. And what was kind of crazy is afterwards he started basically becoming a celebrity. He was like considered America's first celebrity. Everybody followed him, like took pictures of him. He was being like stalked, all this kind of crazy nonsense. In fact, his firstborn son was abducted at 6 months, I think is how old the kid was, and actually was killed. And it was really kind of terrifying. I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff, like he ended up being involved in research and development of airplanes in World War II, accused of Nazi sympathizing, all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of an interesting story because he did all these different things. So basically, that's it. Just read that and kind of leave a comment on it. That's all you have to do. All right, so I got you. All right, so Paul, I'm still checking on some stuff. All right, I think we're good. So here's the deal. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but we had a discussion about what you guys need to do in order to, get credit for all this. And first of all, we're aware that this isn't going to be the same as it was whenever you were in a classroom. To think that it's going to be exactly the same is ridiculous. So we're kind of taking this as like a more laid back approach. I'm kind of seeing it from this standpoint of what can I give you that was something I didn't have time for because I was trying to get to a certain spot in the year. And now it's like, well, I've got this extra time, some kind of extra stuff, things that are kind of like fleshing out a little bit of stuff we've already talked about, and that sort of thing. Or maybe stuff that we haven't talked about, but is still cool. And so that's what I've been doing. As far as what is going to happen next, they're still discussing some things for seniors. They're still discussing possibilities for. Yes, you are. As long as you're on here, the stream, I count that as you participated. Because oftentimes, we talk about history stuff as well. So I mean, that's the same difference in my opinion. So yes, Paul and Jeremiah, you guys have both gotten credit already for this, so you're good to go. But anyways, like I was saying, is that they're working on the senior stuff, and then basically from what I'm seeing is if you're participating, you're good to go, and I'm just marking you as full credit. Participation just means like you mentioned something, you talked about it, you participated, you were involved in some way. So that includes coming onto streams and chatting. It codes doing the assignment. My wife's cat Tom is nosing around my board games back there. Anyways, it's okay. So points are a little bit weird how this works. So what's going to happen is whatever grade you have now listed in the grade book, that's what your letter grade is going to be. However, you also still need to participate in the e-learning, the NTI. What happens if you do that is you get the grade and everything's great, you get your credit. If you don't, what happens is when you come back to school next year, you're going to have to do like extra credit work on like Study Island and all this kind of nonsense. Sup, Maggie? And so we want to prevent that. So basically the 3 points, what that signifies is you participated, full credit. 2 points is like you were there, but you're not quite all the way there. To be honest, I don't really do that. If you participated, you get full credit. 1 is you didn't actually participate. So even though there's point values assigned, what it really signifies is you either did it or you didn't do it or somewhere in between. Like I said, I don't use the 2, I just do 3 or 1 as the case may be. So you're good to go. So Maggie, let me go make certain I've got you credited. Although I'm pretty sure you already did it. I'm not 100% certain because what happens is on Fridays when I check everything and then try to do it again on Monday, I make certain I got everybody, didn't miss anybody. But yeah. All right, Maggie, you're good. I've got you credit for everything. So anyways, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to shoot me an email or whatever. I can make phone calls, whatever the case might be. Just, I want to make it as easy as possible for you all. But the main thing you want to do is you want to participate as you go through because you don't want to end up having to basically remake stuff. And the real problem is seniors. So the point cards on here. Yes. Well, the points on Google Classroom and on here is basically one the same. Yes. So if you're on here, that's your assignment done. You don't have to do anything more. Does that make sense? Because like I said, you've already gotten the history of what we were talking about just now from what we were saying. Word. All right, cool. So yeah, like I said, I just want to make it easy on y'all because I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't know what y'all's schedule is like. I don't know what you're dealing with. I know that my schedule is absolutely insane these days. Um, you know, as strange as this might sound, I'm by nature a night owl, and so you know my sleep schedule's kind of going more towards that now, and so I'm not up at 5 a.m. like I normally am. You know, this is different. My kids have got nonsense going on with their school and trying to get them graduated and all this kind of stuff. It's utterly bananas. So we're just trying to make it work out as best we can, you know. But anyways, um, so yeah. If you guys don't have any specific questions, I thought I'd yak at you a little bit about something else kind of crazy and nerdy, and that is these little miniatures I have for World War One planes. One sec. Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, Hang on, let me go grab my box and I'll be right with you. The thing that I miss the most is honestly just having conversations with you guys. The fact is I got into teaching history first and foremost because I like the subject, but also because I wanted to make it interesting to other people. I wanted to share those stories, and in a lot of ways, being a history teacher is like being a professional storyteller. And essentially, with this, I don't have that audience anymore. But on top of that, I find that one of the most engaging things is kind of being with you guys in a moment in your life as you're planning on that next stage. You know, you're not quite fully adults yet, but you're close, and you're going to be making those life decisions that are going to be placing you in whatever your future is going to be. And I find that very rewarding. And so I just miss being with you guys and finding out how your day is going and finding out what it is that's going on in your life, having inane conversations about My Hero Academia or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I miss teaching you guys. All right. So we talked about aerial combat in World War One, and we saw the movie Flyboys and kind of looked a little bit into what that was like. And a few years ago, a friend of mine, oh my goodness, got me into a game called Wings of Glory. And basically what that is, it's a miniature war game for aviation nerds like me. And basically it's a little war simulator where you fly these little planes on a map. So it's kind of like a board game. And essentially you try to blow each other out of the sky, which is exciting. And I realized I haven't played this in a long time because all of my little planes are scattered all over the place. But what's kind of neat about it is that they are scale replicas of these actual planes. And you would use them and fight with them. So, for example, I've got 2 rows of these guys actually. I've got quite a nice collection of them. Like so, for example, this guy right here is probably the most infamous of the airplanes, the little Red Baron triplane. And you know, I think I told you guys that they actually came, or people started painting them in all kinds of crazy colors. You know, for example, this yellow one was flown by the Red Baron's brother, Lothar von Richthofen. And then you have these kind of crazy ones, which, believe it or not, this is a form of camouflage. Because if you're looking straight down from it. No. We're not going to have any tests. We're not going to have any kind of assessments like that. That's way extra. We ain't doing that. Anyways, so yeah, so camouflage, because if you look down, these lines, because of the angles, cause it to blend in with whatever you're looking at. And then what's kind of always thought was neat is it's the blue on the bottom. It's because if you're looking up at it, you're looking at sky, and it's going to blend in. If you're looking down, it's going to blend in that way too. Of course, other camouflage is a little bit more obvious, like this one right here. Although you got the purple, and so that's it's an Albatross DVA, and then you've got the American planes. Although this one was actually an American, the Allied planes, Eddie Rickenbacker. So I got him. But one thing I always thought was kind of neat is that they're not all the same size. For example, some planes were two-seaters. They were used as observation and light bombers. So you got this guy compared to this guy. So you've got a fighter and you've got a two-seater. Much, much bigger. Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, we're not doing anything test related or what have you, because that would just be cruel and unusual at this point. This guy is one of my favorites though, because he's purple, and that's, I think, a glorious color. But he's a bomber. So this is you consider a heavier bomber, although there are, believe it or not, there's even bigger ones. So you got this guy, which is a bomber, compared to the two-seater, and compare that to the fighter. Look how little he is. It's so big. But yeah, these guys were pretty enormous aircraft for the time. And what's interesting, I thought, is the really big ones, which I don't have because the company that makes these miniatures started releasing these packs, and then they became really difficult to get a hold of. But they did make them called the Zeppelin Strachan. Yes, it is. In fact, one moment, please. I don't believe I have a Newport 17, but this is pretty similar. The Sopwith Camel. So that would have been like kind of similar to what Rawlins and his crew were flying, although they were using Newport 17s. So you got this guy, and then like the Black Falcon was flying something like this. So you got these little guys. And then you've got some kind of other interesting designs of planes, like this dude right here, the Airco DVA, which, look at that weird, it's got like a girder background. It's not even like a full fuselage. And what's really crazy about it is you'll notice, or maybe you can't see it, but the propeller is in the back. It's a push plane. The reason behind that was early on, when they were using machine guns to shoot down other planes, they didn't have a way of putting it directly in front of the pilot. So imagine you're trying to shoot a gun and it's mounted above you and you're trying to be accurate. It's good luck. Yeah, you could put like a crosshair in front of you to help you shoot, but they weren't always accurate. So to get around that, they started at first just having a dude with a machine gun in the back. You can see that gun in the back. And then that would help defend your plane. But the problem is, of course, the area of fire is behind you. You can't really do much in front. Later, they started this push plane idea where you put the propeller in the back and then you have the gun in the front. It's kind of like this rounded thing. Lastly, the Germans actually developed a strategy for something called the interruption gear. So this is the little ports you can kind of put on them. So if you imagine you've got like the propeller, right, on the end of a prop shaft, and as it's spinning, right, you would have a little notch right here and right here in line with the propeller blades. And what would happen is every time the propeller rotated, I'll use this because that's easier to see, every time it would rotate in front of the barrel of the machine gun, this little notch on the prop shaft would trip a lever and turn the gun off. And then as soon as the propeller moved past it, it would sink down and could continue firing again. So that allowed for the guns to be placed directly behind the propeller, as we see, like with this design, it's twin guns behind the propeller. So, you have all these different crazy designs, and they ended up being used for a lot of different purposes. Here's another one of these guys, these twin-seaters. I've got about 4 or 5 of those guys, and then 16 or 20 of the regular planes. And before you ask, yes, it was a little bit of an obsession for a while because I was collecting as many as I could. And I haven't even, this is for the big fans of these war games. This is considered a starter. I have a relatively small collection. Some friends of mine, actually not really friends of mine, friends of a friend, if that makes any sense. He actually works for Boeing, and he's really obsessed with these planes. And apparently he designs them. So he ended up building all these different ones for the purpose of making his own. He's got hundreds of them. So I thought that was excessive even for me. So I stopped at about 20 or so, 25 or so. Though I'm not going to lie, what I really want to do is build a Zeppelin for the purpose of the war game. But that requires hobby skills I don't have. Anyways, so that's just one thing I thought I'd share with you, just because I thought it's interesting, and you might find it interesting. In years past, what I've done when I had much smaller classes was we would actually bust these out, and everyone got a plane, and we'd have like a week of just fighting each other with these planes and having a little war. And that was always pretty interesting. Mainly, we would study this document written by a pilot to teach you the strategy you should be using and things like that. It's called the Dictabelka. And see who could follow along and become an ace or something like that. I think the record we had was someone shot down 12 planes, which was pretty baller. But anyways. So yeah. How you guys doing? What are you all doing to stay sane? What are you doing for entertainment these days? I mean, it's not like there's any sports games going on right now, unless there is, and I'm not aware of them. Games of sport. Although I did read somewhere that ESPN was going to start doing esports, which I thought was pretty amusing. But yeah, no. I can't help you with that right now, sweetheart. Solid. What are you watching? Or are you just flipping through whatever you can find? I did read somewhere that Netflix and I think maybe it was HBO or something like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know Miss Mudd has been binging different things upstairs. As I said, I'm not a TV watcher, so I have no idea what she's up to up there. But that's cool. I will say that I finally started showing my kids My Hero. So I think we got to episode 2 whenever Deku charges the one dude. He's got throws the book at the dude, kind of shames All Might. But anyways, that was pretty dope. But yeah. One thing I thought about having you guys do, but I'm not, because I don't want anyone to feel judged, is recording a little bit about what foods people are eating at home, because there's been a lot of jokes about the quarantine diet, which is to say lots of snack foods, and everyone's gaining more weight and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't feel like anyone needs to judge. Personally, I think I have eaten, my record was most of a box of Nutty Bars in one day, which made me feel like a terrible person, but whatever. Playing the game, staying inside the house all day. That sounds dreadful. Who's winning? No one. No one is. Well, I suppose the sick and keeping the disease from spreading, that's who's winning. We're all winning. but it doesn't feel like it sometimes. That's okay. We have someone else in the chat. I really wish I could click on this button and find out like who's here, but I don't think that's what we're supposed to do with this. That's okay. But yeah, let's see. The other major thing I guess I've been doing is, staying up to date with Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and then started playing Knights of the Old Republic because of May 4th. So, that's good. Going outside's good. Although I have to admit, like, yesterday was great. The day before that and kind of what looks like today is pretty terrible. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, we're just kind of chilling at this point. I got not much else, I guess. A lot of what they've been telling us on the faculty side of things is like, yeah, there's nothing else to report, so peace, and that's been that. So I think we're kind of just waiting to see what happens, but whatever's clever. I will say that it seems to me things are going to be interesting in August. Hey, Richard, I will add you to the participated button. Oh, I'm on the wrong class period. Someone emailed me. Why you do that? There you are. All right, Richard, I got you. Richard, you just missed us playing with the little airplane toys. Because why not, This is where I start reading to you guys, I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's about right. Now, I did actually consider doing that, having reading you guys there's a couple different books I thought about during this time. One of them was an actual historical book written by one of the guys on the Manhattan Project about how would we survive in a nuclear war. And I was like, that sounds a little too close to home, with everyone being kind of like sequestered. And then another one I thought about was a book by Brandon Sanderson, who's kind of this big fantasy author these days. And basically, he started the book with the idea of thinking like something like Lord of the Rings. What would happen if the great heroes on their way to destroy the bad evil failed? And we just have this terrible world and people trying to survive in it. And wrote this series about it called Mistborn. There's also a lot of parallels to some moments in history, particularly when it comes to slavery and second-class citizenship. So it's a pretty good book. But I don't know that I have the energy for that today. Not going to lie, it was a late night last night and an early morning this morning. So I'm sort of just kind of disheveled and frazzled today. So you guys are doing better in that regards. I need to shave too. But I can't be bothered because I don't go anywhere. So let's see. A couple people emailed. Happy Teacher Appreciation Day week. Amazing. Okay. Update address. How about no? I already did that. There's Paul. Perfect. Well, I need you to go back upstairs for a bit, okay? You can come downstairs and watch Netflix more here in a bit. What? No, you can't just hang out now. I guess unless she actually really wants to. I don't know. Maybe you guys really want her just to hang out, but she'll just start randomly singing songs that she only knows like 3 words to. Don't do it. Did I hear a cat down here? thought Little Cat was under my chair. She does that from time to time. Okay, well, I guess at this point I'm just going to call it a day on the stream because I've got nothing else to say or do. Do you guys have any questions for me? Squish. All right, cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them to me by email. Basically, sorry, I've got my phone on constantly, and my phone gets my emails, so I'm checking them more or less. If you were in the stream, you're good. You don't have to do anything. If you missed the stream, then it's on Google Classroom. You just have to read an article about Charles Lindbergh and leave a comment. Easy stuff. So. It's creeping me out. It's like having a staring contest to myself. It is a Little Cat. She's crawling up on the cardboard box I have over there for stashing these old clothes we had. And we're going to donate, but oops, can't do that now. So, alrighty, guys. Peace out. Hi from Maggie's sister. Hey, no worries. I'll probably be streaming again on Friday for anybody who wants to chat or missed anything. Last time I just ended up playing Minion Masters on stream, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, guys, hope you're doing well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you later. So, peace.